every single agency sounds the same. You go to their website, if you get their pitch from them, they all sound the same.
Welcome to the Tech Savvy Recruiter, the podcast for recruitment and staffing agency owners keen to explore the tech innovations reshaping our industry. I'm Andrew Roger from recMate.
And I'm Belinda Kerr from Recruitment Garage, and together we're your hosts bringing you a stellar lineup of tech experts ready to help you understand and, more importantly, benefit from the increasing array of tech available to you today.
I always think of it as a little monkey on my candidate's shoulder, whispering things into their ear, saying, well, you haven't heard back from, Roger Recruitment. You've heard back from Hillier Recruitment and Kerr Recruitment. Let's pursue those two options where there's, I think we're programmed at the DNA level to expect a poor outcome for most stuff. So it keeps us in that fear or flight stage. We're a little bit fearful. If we don't know something, we're assuming the worst, so we run. That basic back to cave person stage. Likewise with candidates, if they don't hear anything, they assume the worst. It's like, that one's not progressing. I'll focus on these other two, and then we'll keep going there. And lo and behold, they get a job with one of those other two because that's what they're focused on.
That's such a good training point there. And it's that whole recruitment 101, isn't it? And Justin, you said it. It's like taking that brief at the beginning and getting those interview times locked in up front. Like we know that's important, but listening to what's coming out of your data, that's now, 110% more important.
Yeah, well, you got to consider that a candidate, not only are they looking at 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 opportunities, they've got bills to pay. They could be leaving a job, or they want to get out of the job they're in right now, and they've got timeframes to actually align all of this too. So if your role, you can't actually tell them what's going to happen next if there's not a start date, and if the recruiter goes, well, the client doesn't know when the start date is. Well, I'd actually recommend not even recruiting for that role right now in the first place. Don't take the job brief. Wait till they're ready, because they're not. So all this information actually enables the candidate to make a decision. Am I interested in this job? Because I can't wait 10 weeks to start this role because I've got another opportunity that I'm interested in. It starts in 6 weeks. That 4-week gap is, well, I've got bills to pay.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was reading, I think it was the grid report that was produced by Bullhorn, and they've got a big focus on talent or candidates, and they've got a stat in there buried somewhere around communication frequency for a candidate. Now, this is maybe not somebody who's in a interview, send out / I'm considering you, shortlisting you for the job. This is a candidate who's applied for something, right? And it's a minimum of once a week whilst they're looking for work. They want to hear from an agency. I think more than once a week is about 25% of candidates expect that. So that's a big chunk that want to hear twice or more a week just after they've hit apply now. Okay, so that's not somebody who've pre-screened, shortlisted, sent the resume to a customer. That's a different ballgame altogether of level of contact. This is just an average person who's clicked that apply now button. So it's I think that we ask your candidates what you're doing, who you're working with, what sort of frequency, how they want to interact as well. What sort of communication they want. It's going to vary from the baby boomer to the Gen X to the millennial to the Gen Zs. They'll all want something different. The doctors, recruiters that I work with, the older generation there, they want the old phone. They don't want to receive a text. They don't want to receive an instant message. They don't want to receive a WhatsApp. Just give me a call. Whereas the other end of the scale, no, I'm not going to answer that one. Don't know who it is. Text me before you call me, then I might answer the call. Some of the
text me to book in a call, and then we'll have a call. Yeah.
That's it. No, there's different stats around that as well. I was listening to a podcast outside the recruitment space, and that was the adage there. Pre-warn your callers that you're about to call, so they go to pick up the call. It's like, different world, but that's from my mental lens. But for other people, it might be, that makes sense. I'm not going to take a call if I don't know what it's about. Why are you calling? I need to prepare myself mentally to pick up that phone, right? So lots of different things that you can learn, but just ask. You don't know if you don't ask, right? So,
and habits change too, don't they? I remember once I went to it was a conference about Gen Ys. It was a long time ago. It was about Gen Ys when the Gen Ys were still pretty young.
I think there's still a few around,
Well, when they were like in their, early 20s, etc. It was a while ago, yeah. And the guy on stage was talking about his younger brother who was, he just couldn't understand it. His grandmother had passed away, and he sent a text saying, oh, I'm sad to hear that. And I remember thinking at the time, oh my God, like he didn't even bother to call. And now when that sort of thing happens to me in life, I think, oh, I probably shouldn't call. I'll just text them because, they might be with their family or whatever. So over that time, my views changed. So, that's just one example. And I think, so what might be a text message this time in a few years' time might not be. It might be something different that they want. Yeah. So
we do it
send a hologram across. Or something.
So it's not a set and forget thing, is it? So it's
Luke,
not like
Luke, we need your help.
Yeah. But it's not like do the research
Half
and it's
the
done.
audience won't get what was just said.
No.
There. So,
No, that's right.
Unfortunately, generational gaps.
Moving right along, everybody.
Moving right along. Now, I was just thinking, something popped into my mind, Justin, around how, the stuff you guys do can help with, we'll talk about specific around client relationship management, around how customer sentiment can help, build strong bridges there. What have you seen that works well for some of your customers using your product that they've employed? What strategies have you seen that are really effective, maybe with some of that data set that is delivered by your business to effectively build and maintain stronger relationships with clients? Because let's face it, it is a bit of a battle out there, particularly at the moment, to hold on to a client and build that relationship. So how have you seen your customers utilize data to help with that client relationship management?
Yeah, I think the most important thing of all of that is they actually have a true point of differentiation. I was saying this a couple of weeks ago in another webinar I was on, that every single agency sounds the same. You go to their website, if you get their pitch from them, they all sound the same. And it's been the same for 20 plus years, 30 plus years since recruitment's been around. Every single agency sounds the same.
What's your key selling points, right?
And I see agencies saying we've got 150 years experience in recruitment. No, you don't. Adding up your employees' years doesn't equate to 150 years. I'm really sorry, but it just doesn't. That logic is flawed. And no mathematician
was that a team of 300 recruiters, Justin?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 6 months each. So I can do the math quick, so it just doesn't add up. So it actually gives them a point of difference because they cannot just talk about how good they are or what they do, which, let's be honest, everyone thinks they're awesome and they all say they're awesome. They've actually got the evidence to back it up. And the unique data sets that we collect actually gives them not only the ability to show their clients how they represent their brand in the market, but how their client represents their own brand in the market, which a lot of the time is very, very scary. They're not good at it. Hiring managers are not good at interviewing. We have the data to prove it. So they can actually go to them and go like, here's how we're representing your brand. Here's how your hiring managers are representing your brand. And just sit back and wait because it's going to be, oh, wow, we had no idea about that.
The numbers will say the awkward parts of that conversation.
Correct. You don't have to actually say your hiring managers suck. The data will do that for you. And then, so that's the setting expectations of this, what it's like to work in this job in this company, etc. But then once it's there, once the candidate's there in reality, what's that environment like? Is the job what they expect? And they've got that data to show. So they don't have to really tell a story because the data does it for them. So all of a sudden they've got this distinctive data proposition instead of a USP. You've got data telling the story. And my most frequent phrase I use across the business and to all our clients, and they actually quote it back to me now, is the data doesn't lie. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
So they take that, and what we've seen is that they win more business from that existing account. They've got more trust with the client. They actually then can build exclusivity with that client because that client wants more of these insights. So they give them more of the work. Tell us more about our business that we don't even know about ourselves. Yes, please.
That's great. That's gold. Love that.
And it's not much work to get to that point where you've got a data set to talk about at the end of the day with your customers. I was talking about this exact same topic this week with a client of mine, and I said, wouldn't it be beautiful if you could once a month for your top 10, let's start with your top 10 customers, present to them a monthly summary. And this is all the great stuff you've done, and it's backed up by stats. Your team doesn't spend a minute to prepare that because your system has that all embedded. It could be the objective stuff. This amount of the jobs that we've brought in. This is the amount of work we've done for you guys, and then this is the outcome. And then this is how we make people feel from that sentiment perspective that you serve up. And here's a few gaps. Fred over in this team here might need a bit of coaching. We've got a coaching service that we can help Fred with if you'd like to put him through that.
Yep.
Whereas Mary, as soon as we send somebody through Mary, she's your best seller to get a candidate across the line to join the business.
Because with my cohort, the smaller businesses, like that 1 to 10 space, they really feel it. They're always looking for a way to stand out. And, what conversation can we have that's different that makes us stand out? And what you've just talked about there is absolute gold. I love that.
Yeah.
Any agency, whether
impossible.
No, it's not. Any agency, whether you're Hayes, whether you're, you, Sharp and Carter, the more larger agencies here in Australia, and then you get down to the small 1 to 10 size employee agency. Your point of difference is not how many jobs you place, how many years experience. It's actually about the experience you provide.
Mm.
People want to
100%.
work. People want to work with people they like. So if your candidates and clients don't like you and your employees don't like working in your business, good luck.
Yeah. And people who get them as well.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for all of us now. We want to be working with people who understand us and get us. They're not trying to force stuff down our throats. They're trying to bring us along with them. Yeah. That's really powerful stuff, Justin.
So, Justin, one thing that's been niggling in the back of my mind is around some of the challenges that clients might have when they've got some of this data in front of them. Mm-hmm. So what I was going to ask you was, what are some of the biggest challenges that are faced to, ensure that there's a positive experience for candidates and clients and your internal stakeholders? Is there ways, are there ways that tech can help overcome those challenges as well? So there's a couple of questions in there.
There are. Look, I think it's about knowing what experience you provide in the first place. I think the biggest challenge a lot of agencies have is that they think they know. We're great at doing this. I've had agencies who've gone live on our platform who've turned around and gone, no, we prepare our candidates brilliantly for client interviews. And then and I laugh at them, obviously, because they've got literally no idea. And I've got no idea whether they do or not either. But it's like you're putting this statement out there. I can't wait for the data to come back. Let's see what happens. And then invariably it comes back and they're no good at it because they've been so confident they're that good at it. Here's an example of an agency who, in that exact story of they thought they were great at preparing candidates for interview. They were rubbish. And it got worse and worse and worse month on end. It was about 4 months in a row. I kept reaching out to the owner and going, I won't say his name, almost did. This is not.
No, don't do that.
This is not looking good. You need to jump on it. That was month 2. Month 3, it was like, hey, mate, what's going on? Month 4, he's like, yeah, okay, we've got a problem. So they jumped into training. They did that. They fixed it. They showed the consultants what was going wrong and actually did some training. This is what we need to be doing. This is how you prepare a candidate for interview. Next month, they had their greatest conversion to placement they've ever had from interview.
Wow.
So knowing more so what's going on is the biggest challenge that agencies have, because if you've got your head in the sand and you're not measuring it, you're relying on gut feel. And whilst that'll work 80% of the time or maybe 20% of the time, it's not going to give you everything you know. And you can't realistically know every single quality aspect that your consultants are delivering every minute of the day. So you need to measure it. You need that insight. So the biggest challenge really is knowing everything that's going on across your business. You can't possibly know that. No business owner worth their salt will go, I know everything that's going on in the business. You just don't. You can't. There was a second part of that, though, wasn't there, Andrew? Did I miss the second part?
Can tech help overcome some of the challenges that you see internally?
Yeah, well, look, obviously I'm incredibly biased. We measure all of this for everyone.
I thought I'd throw you that bone.
Every review is aligned to the consultant, but it's also aligned to the individual job and the client. So we're measuring the client at the same time and how they're providing the experience. So you might actually be doing a fantastic job. And this comes back to that challenge as well of not knowing. You don't know the experience your client's providing. And what the data's clearly shown us over the last 5-6 years is that the hiring managers have the greatest impact to outcome in terms of impact to placement and having that not occur. If they provide a poorer experience, the conversion halves for when it's a better experience. So you need that level of insight. You need to be measuring this. So yeah, that's what we do. We give you that insight to go, right, here's what's going wrong and why. Go fix it. And your hiring managers aren't that great either. You need to go fix that as well. So yeah, there are solutions, of course. And you should be, you should be measuring it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a great quote, Peter Drucker, what gets measured gets done, right? So
yeah,
you can't manage what you
don't measure it, you can't improve it.
I'd love to know.
It's true.
No, that's right. I'd love to know, Justin, if you've got any more like that was a great example there. Any more sort of specific examples that you're happy to share, either client or candidate side or internal, external, doesn't matter. But I just to really show people how, the data, and that's obviously using tech, this is a tech podcast. It's obviously using data to collate and interpret all of that. But I just love to, if there's more stories, I like stories. I'd love to hear if there's any more of those.
I've got a data example for you. And I've got a story for you as well.
Okay.
We'll go on the data example first, because this is actually the two different parts of the process where impact happens. And it's not at the placement stage. It's already done and dusted. Everyone's already happy at placement. When the candidate and the consultant have their interview, the job's getting pitched, the candidate's pitching themselves, they're trying to feel each other out. This is a good match, blah, blah, blah. Consultant goes, yep, I like you. You're going to be right for this client. I'm going to put you forward. When the consultant gets that stage of the process right, there's 5 unique questions we have the candidate review them against. When they get that score 90 and above, it converts to placement 4.5 times more when the score drops below 90. So 90 to 100 is when they get it right. When it
Wow.
goes 80 to 89, there's a 4.5 times difference in terms of conversion to placement. That's massive. Absolutely enormous.
Awesome.
When the hiring manager,
huge.
Yeah, so all
That's
our scores
huge.
are out of 100. When the hiring manager scores 90 plus out of 5 unique questions, last quarter, let's see if I can remember the numbers at the top of my head, it converted to placement 44% of the time. When it dropped to 80 to 90, it converted to placement 28% of the time.
Gosh, big change. Big change.
Now,
and they're just not in our view, are they, these kind of things?
No.
They're just not things that we register against.
So the use of this now...
Do you have an alert that gets sent when it drops below 90 and I can do some repatriation work with that particular candidate?
Triggers and things and everything going off all over the place, and data lights up on the screen in different colours and it tells you what's going on. There's graphs that show you your conversion to placement based on hiring managers and what they're doing, etc. But our clients have literally, there's one client in particular I'm thinking of that has taken this hiring manager experience that they're providing to candidates back to them and shown them what's going wrong. They were actually struggling to fill jobs with this client. They actually showed this data and trained the hiring managers on what they should be doing. Following 2 months later, same jobs they went out to market with. There were 7 jobs they were trying to recruit for this client. They didn't fill any of them previously. They couldn't work out why. And this actually turned out to be why. Hiring managers were providing a really crappy experience. They trained them, went back out, same job, same salary, same hiring managers, same everything, but better equipped hiring managers. They filled every job. The scores before were 56 out of 100. The scores after were 92.
Yeah. What a service.
And it's always good having data too, because you're not criticising the person as such. It's just the information that you're dealing with and training around. So it doesn't make it a personal attack. It just makes this is how it is and this is how we fix it.
Data doesn't lie.
Yeah, love that.
People do.
No, not yet anyway. Not until AI might get a hold of it and make that happen. We'll see.
We'll find out. And actually, that leads on to one of our final questions, I think, for today, around the future. What is emerging in your wheelhouse, Justin, and how do you think it's going to shape candidate and client experiences in the recruitment sector? These amazing AI stuff that's happening as we unfold. I mean, it's been an amazing ride the last 12 months, that's for sure. What's the next 12, 18 months going to hold, Justin?
We've certainly touched on it all, but it's a matter of pulling all that together. So we're heading in that direction as well, surprisingly, AI. So that's coming to our platform next year. We've built out, really in-depth candidate client feedback. So we know what every consultant provides on that front. We know what the clients provide because we've built that out. We've got employee feedback into the mix. We're adding performance reviews into the platform, and then we're sticking AI on top of it all. And what we're going to be able to do with that is actually go, right. And we're also looking at the environment that the consultant themselves work in, whether they work from home, hybrid, or work from office primarily. So we're actually going to be able to have a look at this full picture of a consultant and a full picture of the agency and understand that the consultants that work from home primarily, providing a better candidate and client experience, are they more satisfied and have better performance review outcomes than those who are purely office-based or hybrid? And what is the difference? What is the gap? And how do we compare to the rest of the market? And to get our lower consultants up to the higher performing consultants, what needs to be done? So it's a matter of pulling all this data together and actually getting AI to analyze it to go, right, your employees who are hybrid are better performing in this area, underperforming there compared to the ones who are working from home or in the office all the time. So understanding all these different moving parts, not just of AI, but the work environment today as well, which is very different than what it was 3 years ago, is key to actually going, right, what is the best model for us?
Amazing. So, Justin, that is also very interesting and some really great takeaways. My favorite was actually I had two favorites. One was the 1 second increments. No, but lots of really good takeaways. My favorite is the 1% rule though, because I think agency owners, because I'm thinking about my cohort, agency owners get so overwhelmed with everything and they think that they've got to do everything at once. But if we can just go for those 1%ers, at the end of the year, that makes a huge, huge difference. And I love everything what you do. I know we spoke before and you said you're going to the UK over there as well. So we've got UK, Oz. You're not in the States, are you? You're in the States?
Not yet, no. We're Australian. We're in about 9 or 10 countries where our clients are based. But yeah, primarily it's Australia, New Zealand / UK. But I agree with you, the 1%ers, and I say this to our clients as well, we don't measure rocket science stuff. We measure 1%ers. That's actually literally, if you look at the questions we ask, it's no-brainer stuff. It's the 1%ers you should be nailing every time. And the consultants shouldn't be scared of it as well. I've came up with this line a little while ago. The consultants actually have the answers to the test on the screen. We show them the questions they're going to get reviewed against. It's the cheat code. You know what you're getting reviewed against. If you get these 1%ers right, which they're on the screen in front of you, you should get, well, we're dealing with people. You're not going to get 100% all the time, but you should go pretty close. So it's nothing scary. It's just about knowing. And those numbers I mentioned before about income impact to placement outcome, they're very real.
Yeah, really real. Hey, I love everything that you do, and I'm so delighted that you came to chat with us today. I want to hear the 60-second pitch. I want to know more and how people can get in touch with you.
I've got a 60-minute, Justin.
It was a 60-minute pitch, I think Andrew was saying before.
Did I say 60 minutes? 60 seconds?
No, I was
going
going
to
say
say 60 minutes at the beginning.
Yeah, look, what we do is, I can really dumb it down into 60 seconds and say we just help you improve your business. We help you improve your consultants by their skill sets and the experience they provide to your candidates and clients, which enables you to improve the candidate and client experience, which enables you to improve impact to placements and the outcomes that you're all looking for. So, and it shines a light. Really what we're doing is shining a light on what you think you might know, what you probably do know, but reconfirming it all with data. And the adage or the line that I use quite frequently now, the data doesn't lie. And once it starts stacking up, very hard to ignore. So it's just about knowing rather than not knowing and making sure that you're doing the right thing by your candidates, all of your candidates and clients, not just a select few. Yeah. And your employees as well.
Yeah, love that. That's amazing. Terrific.
Perfect. Well, I think that's a wrap, BK, for today's episode.
I think so. I think we've squeezed a lot of juice out of Justin. He's been very forthcoming and interesting.
He has.
He's probably got other things to do today apart from talk to us.
Amazing.
As entertaining as we are.
Yeah, as fun as we are to be, it is time to say goodbye. And a really big thank you to you, Justin. Very insightful to chat today, and really great insights into how you can just do that 1%. I did look up as we were chatting. It is definitely James Clear in his Atomic Habits book. If you do 1% a day, you end up being 37 times better by the end of a year. Okay, so that's just 1% per day.
There you go.
To our listeners, thank you so much for joining us today. And hopefully we've taken a few little kernels there to put into your wheelhouse of improvement. And if you're thinking about anything to do with customer sentiment, you know where Justin is. If you don't, look on LinkedIn. You'll see him within 3 seconds there. He's always there. So please reach out and have a chat with Justin around how his business can help yours to do things that little bit better each and every day. And obviously, don't forget to hit subscribe if you found this session valuable to stay up to date with the latest recruitment insights. If it sparked some sort of idea, question, feel free to reach out to Belinda or myself to have some specific conversation, or join in the conversation in the chat feature, with whatever social media channel that you're on right now.
Yeah,
so go ahead, VK.
I was just going to say, equally, if you are a tech provider, don't be shy reaching out as well, because this is about, well, it is called the Tech Savvy Recruiter for a reason. And so if you're out there listening to this and you think you've got some value to add from that perspective, don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, we'd love to have a chat to see how we can weave you into a upcoming episode. So thanks once again for joining us. And until next time, may your candidate pipelines be plentiful and your hires be perfect fits. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye for now. Thank you. Thanks for joining us for today's episode of the Tech Savvy Recruiter. If you'd like to stay up to date with the latest recruitment trends and insights, make sure that you remember to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And also, if you'd like to speak to Andrew about turning your tech stack into your secret weapon, or myself around creating an agency that delivers you more money, more meaning, and more freedom, we'd absolutely love to chat. Reach out to us on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for your support. We look forward to seeing you next time.